Hi and welcome to our YouTube channel. How are you guys doing? Today I brought a good topic for you guys, especially for those of you who are confused about gerunds and infinitives. So that's what we're going to discuss about for today's class. And make sure to watch our previous videos. And first things first, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. So before we get started, for those of you who don't know me, I am Betty. I'm one of the English teachers at Brain English. So we're going to get started.
እንግሊዘኛ መናገር ከባድ ሆኖባችኋል? ከሆነስ ብራይ እንግሊሽ መፍትሄውን ይዞላችሁ መጥቷል። ለሶስት ወር የሚቆይ የኮሙኒኬሽን ስኪላችሁን የሚያሳድግ ትሬኒንግ ይዘንላችሁ መጥተናል። በዚህ የትሬኒንግ ወቅት የምናተኩረው የእናንተን የስፒኪንግ ክህሎት እና የሊስኒንግ ክህሎታችሁን ማሳደግ ላይ ብቻ ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ለጊዜው ህጎቹን እንተዋቸዋለን። በዚህ የትሬኒንግ ወቅት እናንተ ሐሳባችሁን መግለጽ እና የሌሎቹን ሐሳብ ደግሞ መቀበል እንድትችሉ ነው የምናደርጋችሁ። ይህንን ኮርስ ለመመዝገብ ከፈለጋችሁ እታች ባሉ ስልክ ቁጥሮች ወይም ደግሞ ላይ በመታገኙት የቴሌግራም ዩዘርኔም መመዝገብ ትችላላችሁ። የክፍያ ጉዳይ እንዳያሳስባችሁ፣ እንዳቅማችሁ የተለያየ አማራጭ ይዘንላችሁ ስለመጣን መፍትሄ አይጠፋም። እንዲሁም ሰዓት ወይም ጊዜ የምትሉን ከሆነ ደግሞ ባላችሁበት በኦንላይን ወይም ደግሞ እኛ ባለንበት መታችሁ በአካል መማር ትችላላችሁ። ስለዚህ ይሄ ድል እንዳይመልጣችሁ። Thank you for watching Brain English.
So first thing is first, we're going to talk about gerunds. So let me just start off with a basic question, which is, what are you guys doing now, or what did you do today? So if I ask you what you did today, how are you going to respond to this question? So for example, let's say you went to shopping. So like how do you say it? I went to shopping. I was cooking. Or let's say you were practicing piano. So I was practicing piano. So here a gerund acts as the subject. So simply a gerund is equal to I was cooking ወይም ደግሞ I went shopping የሚለውን this like shopping is the gerund here, right? So that is simply what the gerund means. So simply a gerund is a verb plus the ing form that acts like a subject and a noun. So it has multiple uses. Gerund በጣም ብዙ ጥቅም አለው። የመጀመሪያው ጥቅሙ it shows purpose ወይም ደግሞ showing purpose or intention or even intended future actions. So I'll try to simplify it for you guys. Make sure to watch this video until the end. And like I have told you, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe, okay? So የመጀመሪያው gerund እንደነገርኳችሁ የግድ subjectን ስለተጠቅሱ እንደ subject ያገለግለናል ማለት ነው። So for example, they can be used as a subject or an object. So ለምሳሌ እናንተ አንድ example comment ላይ ጻፉልኝ እስኪ using a gerund. So gerund simply it's a verb and verb ላይ ደግሞ ing ከጨምሮ that acts like the subject ማለት የመጀመሪያው ጥቅሙ። ለምሳሌ ዋና በጣም ደስ ይላል ወይም በጣም fun ነው ስንል how do we say it in English? We say swimming is fun, right? So swimming is fun. Here we didn't mention any subject or object, but we actually categorize them in the gerund. So the gerund here is a swimming አይደለ? So swimming ላይ እንደ subjectም እንደ objectም like እንጠቀማለን ማለት so it amplifies that swimming is the gerund here and everyone knows that we're talking about swimming. Okay, very good. Now let's see another example. For example, if I say I enjoy reading, okay, verbs like enjoy, they're usually followed with gerunds, which is the ing form of the verb read. So I enjoy reading kalbi ማንበብ ያስደስተኛል ወይ ደስ ይለኛል ያልኩኝ አይደለ? So the first usage of gerund, like I have told you, it acts like the subject, showing the purpose, the intention, and the future intended action ማለት ነው። So for example, let me give you more examples. ለምሳሌ ዳንስ ደስተኛ ያደርገኛል. How do I say it in English? Dance make me happy ሳይሆን የሚለው እንዴት ነው የሚለው? Dancing makes me happy. So here, talking about the purpose of dance, which is making me happy. Same thing goes for I love cooking, for example. I love cooking. If you see here, the same thing as enjoy, the verb to love is also followed with a gerund, which is I love cooks and I love cooking, right? So here, the gerund is kicking. So that is what the main purpose of gerund is. For example, if we say he's good at drawing, he is good at drawing. I'm also using a gerund here, which is drawing. So I'm using it as an object. So we can use gerund as a subject and as an object. So it's like the ing form of a verb, okay? It's like ing form of the verb that is used as a noun. ልክ እንደ ስር የምንጠቀመው verb ላይ ግን ing form ጨምረን የምንጠቀመው gerund እንለዋለን ባጭሩ። So for example, እንግሊዘኛ ማስተማር fun. How do I say it? Teaching English is fun. Teaching English is fun. Okay, simple as it is. So it's like the verb ing form that acts like the noun. Okay, very good. So let's see the first use of gerund, which is gerunds when they come as the subject of the sentence. ልክ እንደ subject ሆኖ ሲመጡ ምን ማለት እንደሆኑ let's see that. For example, let us say running is my favorite hobby. So running is my favorite hobby. Here, if you see running is a gerund, right? So running is my favorite hobby. It acts like the subject. The gerund running acts like a subject. For example, if I say listening to music, okay, listening to music helps me relax. Thinking goes here. I'm talking about the purpose of listening to music, which is helping me relax. So this is it about gerund. When we talk about subjects, when we use that as a subject of the noun ማለት ነው። ሁለተኛው ደግሞ use of gerund ምንድን ነው? When we use gerunds as the object of the verb. What does it mean when we say it as the object of the verb? For example, if I say, one day you should know some verbs that are followed by gerunds, not infinitives. So infinitive እናወራ ነው። Infinitives, they're just like the basic form of the verb. እንደማይቺ ሳናረግባቸው ወይም ደግሞ verb one የምንላቸው. Gerund like it, there is always an ing form. So there are verbs that are always followed with gerunds instead of infinitives. Now let's see common verbs followed by gerunds. There are አንዳንድ verbs አሉ የግድ ሁልጊዜ ከgerund ጋር follow የሚያደርጉ. For example, verbs like enjoy, like, love, hate, dislike, avoid, finish, etc. So እንደዚህ አይነት verbs they're usually followed with gerunds ማለት በgerund ነው follow የሚደረጉት usually. Let's see the third use of gerunds. So እስካሁን ስንታለ gerund የምንለው ባጭሩ ምንድን ነው? It is like a verb plus the ing form that acts like the subject, that acts like the object, and it has multiple uses. አንደኛው showing purposes, ሁለተኛው showing intention, and ሶስተኛ ደግሞ feature ወይም intended action የምንለውን ለማሳየት ማለት ነው። So ለምሳሌ if I ask you what did you do today, like I have told you earlier, for example, I went shopping, I went, or the more you can say I was cooking. Okay, so the verb is an ing form to it. So that is what we call gerund. So we can also use gerunds as, or we can use gerunds after prepositions. Prepositions ወይም አማርኛ የሚችል መስተዋድድ ከምንላቸው በኋላ የምንጠቀማቸው ራሱ we can also use gerunds ማለት ነው here. For example, you can always use a gerund after a preposition, like prepositions such like to, about, in, on, for, of የምንላቸው prepositions ስትጠቀሙ we can also use gerunds. And it's also important to use gerunds here. For example, እስኪ እንግሊዘኛ መማር ላይ okay, ወይ እንግሊዘኛ ለመማር interested ነኝ ብላችሁ comment ላይ ጻፉልኝ. How do you say it? I am interested in learning English, or I am interested in learning English, or I am interested to learn English. You can say that. That is possible. But the correct way to say it is no. I am interested in learning English. እንግሊዘኛ መማር interest አለኝ ብያችሁ ነው ማለት ነው. So here learning acts as the gerund here. So we should always follow it with prepositions. Okay, after prepositions, ለምሳሌ in ሊስተቀውናል ለዚህ ጋር. So in ከሚለው preposition ቀጥለን we use a gerund. So we can also use gerund after prepositions ማለት ነው. The other example ደግሞ let's see. ለምሳሌ እሷ ዘፈን ላይ ጎበዝ ናት. How do we say it? እሷ ዘፈን ጎበዝ ናት. So if you guys say she's good at singing, or she's good at drawing, she's good at cooking, okay? What am I saying here? I am referring that she is, okay? She's good at drawing, she's good at dancing, she's good at music, etc. So እዚህ ጋር ደግሞ ምን እያልኩኝ ያለሁት like የአንድን ሰው ማረግ የሚችለው ነገር, okay? That after a preposition, which is she's good at. At is a preposition here, right? So ሁልጊዜ ከመስተዋደድ በኋላ ደግሞ gerund ልንጠቀም ይኖርብናል ማለት ነው. So simply a gerund is the verb ing form, okay? Simply that is that. So ለምሳሌ ደግሞ goodbye ሳይሉን ሄዱ ወይም ደግሞ ቻው ሳይሉን ሄዱ ስትሉ how do you say it in English? So for example, you can say they left without saying goodbye. They left without saying goodbye. See? So they got the same thing. They left without saying goodbye. Here, without is the preposition and say is the gerund here. So that is the same way we can use gerunds. But so እናንተም ሌላ ኤግዛምፕል እየሞከራችሁ comment section ላይ ጻፉልኝ using gerunds. Okay? So we've already seen two uses of gerunds. አንደኛ when you use it as a subject, ሁለተኛ when you use it as an object, and also when you use gerunds that acts like a noun. Okay, so for example, let me just break it down, or let me give you a quick tip. አንድ የሚጠቅማችሁን ቲፕ ልንገራችሁ, especially when there are phrasal verbs like give up, look forward to, etc. እንደዚህ አይነት phrasal verbs ሲመጡ you need to make sure to use gerunds. So for example, I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Here, look forward is a phrasal verb, right? So after a phrasal verb, it should always be followed by a gerund. So I'm looking forward to meet you. So looking is the gerund here, but we also use it as a phrasal verb, which is with the word forward. So I'm looking forward to meeting you, or I'm giving up on maths class. For example, I'm giving up on maths class. If I say it here, I'm also using a gerund in the phrasal verbs, which is changing the phrasal verb with the first phrasal verb, adding ing for it. Okay? Give up, giving up. Look after, looking after. Okay? Take after, taking after. Something like that. So you need to always make sure after phrasal verbs, it should always go with gerunds. Very good. Now let's move on to the fourth usage of gerunds. Okay? Gerunds in expressions. For example, አንድ ፊልም አያችሁና በጣም አሪፍ ፊልም ነው. That is worth watching. That is worth watching is an expression ወይም አባባል አይደለ? So በጣም መታየት ያለበት ፊልም ነው, ወይም ደግሞ it's a really good movie, you should watch it ምናምን ብለን ስንል we say it's worth watch ሳይሆን watching. So here we also add the ing for and we use the gerund here ማለት ነው. So for example, I can't help laughing. I can't help laughing. If you see here, can't help is like the phrasal verb አይደለ? So can't help ማለት ቶለሬት አለማድረግ። So ለምሳሌ መሳቅ like አለመሳቅ አልቻልኩኝ ወይም ደግሞ መሳቅ ማቆም አልቻልኩኝ. I'm saying that, right? So I can't help laughing. Okay, so you also use gerunds in expressions. በአባባል ላይ ወይም ንግግር ላይ አባባል ላይ ትጠቀሙታላችሁ ማለት ነው። ለምሳሌ I feel like going home. I feel like going home. ወደ ቤት የሚሄድ ስሜት አለኝ. Okay, so we use it in expressions. Now let's compare gerunds and infinitives, since we've already made it clear about gerunds. ሁለቱ ልዩነት ደግሞ let me clarify it for you guys. So ለምሳሌ we use gerunds እንደነገባችሁ look in the subject and the object and expression ላይ, and even after phrasal verbs, also after prepositions ብለን አይተናል. For example, I remember telling her the truth, or I remember telling her the news. If I say this, ያንን ነገር እንደነገባት ትዝ ይለኛል. So I remember doing that. So you remember that you did it before because it's እንዳደረጋችሁ ወይ እንዳደረጋችሁ like ያደረጋችሁት ነገር እንደምታስታውሱ ስትገልጹ you also use gerunds. For example, I remember locking the door. Okay? I remember locking the door. በምን እንደዘጋሁት ትዝ ይለኛል. So you can use gerunds when you talk about or when you remember doing something. ሌላኛው ደግሞ when you remember to do something. ይህን ስላችሁ ለምሳሌ አንድን ሰው ስታስታውሱ ወይም ደግሞ you're telling them not to forget about it. For example, remember to lock the door. Remember to lock the door. So እዚህ ጋር ያስታወሳችሁ ሳይሆን እንዳደረጋችሁ ያስታወሳችሁ ሳይሆን ያንን ሰው ያስታወሳችሁ ነው. So here are two usage of gerunds. ሌላ ተጨማሪ usageአቸው ደግሞ when you remember doing something እና when you remember to do something ማለት ነው. So I hope it's clear for you. አሁን ደግሞ ለምሳሌ when you quit an activity of smoking. So he stopped smoking እንጂ he stopped smoke አንልም አይደለ? So he stopped smoking. So you can also gerunds after like or when you stop doing something or when you quit doing something ማለት ነው. So I expect from you guys to give me such examples in the comment section and I will check it for you guys. So this is it about gerunds. I hope it was clear for you guys. So now let's play a really quick question and answer game. So እነዚህን ጥያቄዎች ከመለሳችኋቸው እንግሊዘኛ ሌብላችሁ አሪፍ ይሆናል ማለት ነው. And I'm pretty sure እንግሊዘኛችሁ after gerunds ከተማረ በኋላ እነዚህ ጥያቄዎች ከመለሳችሁ አግኝታችኋል ወይ ደግሞ ስለ gerund እና ስለ infinitive ገብቷችኋል ማለት ነው. So let me read the sentence for you and you will tell me which one is the correct sentence. የትኛው ልክ እንደሆነ comment ላይ ትጽፉልኛላችሁ ማለት ነው. Let's get into it. The first one is I suggested going to the park. I suggested going to the park is the first sentence. The second one ደግሞ I suggested to go to the park. So which one is the correct sentence? So I will give you 3 seconds saying in messages. I will give you 3 seconds. Very good. So መልሳችሁ የመጀመሪያ ከሆነ ወይም ደግሞ I suggested going to the park ከሆነ ልክ ናችሁ. So words like suggest, like enjoy ልንላቸው usually በgerund ነው follow የሚደረገው so I suggested going okay the verb to go ላይ ing form ጨምርና I suggested going to the park እንላለን ማለት ነው so መልሳችሁ የመጀመሪያው ከሆነ then you got it right ሁለተኛው ደግሞ እንዲህ she's good at dance እንላለን አይደል she's good at dance she's good at dancing which one is the correct sentence okay again 3 seconds okay so if your answer was she's good at dancing then you got it right so አሁን እዚህ ጋር verbs like good at okay እንደዚህ አይነት phrasal verbs ከኋላ gerund ተከቡ so she's good at dancing so that should be the correct sentence ሶስተኛው ደግሞ he denied to take the money he denied taking the money የመጀመሪያው he denied to take the money ሁለተኛው ደግሞ he denied taking the money የመጀመሪያው take ነው ሁለተኛው taking ነው which one is the correct answer simple ለመጀመሪያው ነው እዚህ ጋር the verb to deny is followed is a gerund so he denied taking the money ነው ማለት ነው what about the fourth one I am good at drawing no ways I'm good at okay this one is simple actually so the answer should be I'm good at drawing so እናንተ gerund በመጠቀም comment section ላይ I expect from you by sentence and exclusively this is it about gerunds I hope it was clear for you now let me just talk about infinitives a little bit so that it will be clear for you so infinitives ደግሞ የምንላቸው እንደነቀልባችሁ the basic form of a sentence okay the basic form of the verb okay የመጀመሪያው verb ደግሞ ወደ ምንም ፎርም ሳንቀይራቸው ኢንፊኒቲቭስ እንላቸዋለን so ለምሳሌ ማንበብ አስፈላጊ ነው ወይም ጠቃሚ ነው ስንል to read is important okay so they usually are used with to the to ከምትለው ጋር አብረው ብዙ ጊዜ የምንጠቀማቸው ኢንፊኒቲቭሶች ነው so we use them after verbs like want decide እንደዚህ አይነት verboች ከመጡ usually ኢንፊኒቲቭስ የምንጠቀመው so ለምሳሌ ቶሎ ለመሄድ ወሰን they decided leaving early ሳይሆን they decided to leave early okay so we use infinitives with to and some verbs can be followed by gerunds እና በኢንፊኒቲቭስ follow የሚደረጉ verboች አሉ ቅድም እንደነገርኳችሁ there are verbs ግዴታ በgerund ቻፕኮል የሚደረጉ አሁን ደግሞ there are also some verbs that are followed with gerunds and infinitives so for example I remember locking the door ቅድም ትዝ ይላችኋል when you remember doing something like I have told you use gerunds ብያችኋለሁ አሁን ደግሞ increasing ሲገባ ወይ ደግሞ እሱን አስገብተን መጠቀም እንችልባቸው ሴንቴንሶች ወይም verboች እንቃሉ ለምሳሌ I remember locking the door remember to lock the door okay so remember to lock the door ማለት I'm helping you when I'm telling you to remember doing something አንድ ነገር እንድታረግ እያስታወስኳችሁ ነው I remember locking the door ደግሞ እንደዘጋሁት አስታውሳለሁ እያልኩኝ ነው so there are also verbs like once decide ነው የምንላቸው verb በሁለቱ በgerundም በኢንፊኒቲቭም follow ይደረጋሉ ማለት so simply let me just give you a quick tip use gerunds to talk about as a subject of a sentence after certain verbs or after prepositions or even with expressions ማለት infinitives ደግሞ the base form of the verb so I hope it was useful for you guys if you enjoyed this video make sure to give it a thumbs up and if you haven't subscribed yet subscribe አድርጉ እንግሊዘኛም ፈረንሳይኛም አረብኛም መማር ትፈልጋችሁ join us ወይም WhatsApp ላይ ስልካችን ስላለ ደውሉልን I hope you guys enjoyed this video until next time bye guys
እንግሊዘኛ መናገር ከባድ ሆኖባችኋል ከሆነስ ብራይ እንግሊሽ መፍትሄውን ይዞላችሁ መጥቷል ለ3 ወር የሚቆይ የኮሙኒኬሽን ስኪላችሁን የሚያሳድግ ትሬኒንግ ይዘንላችሁ መጥተናል በዚህ የትሬኒንግ ወቅት የምናተኩረው የእናንተን የስፒኪንግ ክህሎትና የሊስኒንግ ክህሎታችሁን ማሳደግ ላይ ብቻ ይሆናል ማለት ነው ለጊዜው ህጎቹን እንተዋቸዋለን በዚህ የትሬኒንግ ወቅት እናንተ ሐሳባችሁን መግለጽ እና የሌሎቹን ሐሳብ ደግሞ መቀበል እንድትችሉ ነው የምናደርጋችሁ ይህን ኮርስ ለመመዝገብ ከፈለጋችሁ እታች ባሉ ስልክ ቁጥሮች ወይም ደግሞ ላይ በመታገኙት የቴሌግራም ዩዘር ኔም መመዝገብ ትችላላችሁ የክፍያ ጉዳይ እንዳያሳስባችሁ እንዳቅማችሁ የተለያየ አማራጭ ይዘንላችሁ ስለመጣን መፍትሄ አይጠፋም እንዲሁም ሰዓት ወይም ጊዜ የምትሉን ከሆነ ደግሞ ባላችሁበት በኦንላይን ወይም ደግሞ እኛ ባለንበት መታችሁ በአካል መማር ትችላላችሁ ስለዚህ ሄድን እንዳይመልጣችሁ thank you for watching Brain English